secure in his mind a man that is admired, fun, compassionate, understanding, and very sarcastic. But hey, that's who he is. The advice can either be good or misunderstood, but he does speak from experience. So sit back, listen up, volume up, and let's talk about it. He is the icon.
Well, how's everybody doing out there? Such a beautiful day. Hopefully everybody's doing good. Your day's going well, week's going well. Everything is all good. I want to welcome you out to the show. I am the Icon. This is Let's Talk About It. So, I was not going to do this letter that I received from a listener, or maybe somebody just trolling. Hell, I don't know. But didn't really take too much offense to it, but kind of weird. But I did do a little bit of research. What I found was just a little bit awkward to me, considering that I think some people take little things too far in referencing to their social media account or what they do with their time. I don't know, just my opinion. I don't do this shit for likes. I just do it because I enjoy it. But the letter didn't really strike a nerve with me. Just like I said, don't know if it's somebody trolling or somebody just being a dick. I don't know. But in any event, this letter comes from a person named JS from Oklahoma. Not a long letter, but in any event, clearly thought that there was much better things to do with my time, but we'll go ahead and do the letter. And well, I guess we'll just be, I don't know, maybe we'll humor myself with it, or I don't know. Let's just see where this goes. In any event, the artist for today's show, various artists. Most is King Sis. The other is Mr. And I think we have the Slow, SRA, not to be conformed with SZA, and Mimi Bagora. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it, because I really don't care for too much for this. But as I said before, you write, I read, and I give my opinion. So, without further ado, here we go. Hello, Icon. I wanted to ask your opinion about a person that concerns me. He has what is perceived to be not friends, but clearly has some issues. I know you are aware of a guy that is insta famous for having a family of mannequins. Okay. To me, it seems that the guy, who I will not mention, seems to be either mentally challenged, or he is clearly lonely or missing a social part of his life. I'm asking you because I know that you are a lonely man. What? Excuse me? Say again? Okay, anyways. I'm asking because I know you're a lonely man and wanted to know if you're affected by what he's doing. It's okay if you experience a similar situation, as I want to advocate for you and him seeking help.
What the hell's going on here?
I have no idea. I know the podcast you have is sometimes a cry for help or attention. I want to let you know that I'm here for you, because no one should have to go through this alone. Yeah, okay, alright. But the more I see this guy on IG, it's rather disturbing, and though some people in the comments seem to glorify or make a joke of it, I think it's a serious matter. And instead of encouraging this behavior, we should try to get this guy help. Would you agree with me? I think I'll get you some help. Anyways, I know you are just as concerned about him as I am. I would like to advocate for help for him. And if you and your listeners could join me in getting the help that he desperately needs, you seem to understand him because you can relate. Relate to what? And if I'm wrong about you and him, then I stand corrected. I value your opinion and respect you. Signed, JS from Oklahoma. Oh, okay. All right. JS from Oklahoma. First off, thank you for the letter. Second of all, I'm not lonely. Okay? I may not have friends, but clearly I don't do what this gentleman does. And we'll get more into that as the show progresses on. I don't know why you're coming at me in reference to this guy as if we are one and the same. Clearly we are not. What this guy does on his IG page or does on his account, that's his damn business. I'm not affected by it. I don't take offense to it. I'm not even sure where the hell you got that from, because clearly I've never mentioned in any of my podcasts that I talk to mannequins. I'm not a lonely man. I may not have friends, but that is a choosing of mine why I don't have friends. This is probably the reason why I don't have friends. It's not the fact that you're being judgmental of me, but I'm not even sure if you even know me. You may be a follower of mine on IG, that's fine. But not anywhere on my page that is listed that I am talking to a mannequin. Now, that being said, people often talk to themselves just because, or they're thinking out loud. But I'm not sure why you paired me up with this guy who we will talk about in reference to being lonely. If you're concerned about him, that's fine. I too know the guy you're talking about. I have reached out to him, but he has yet to respond to me. But in order for me to reach out to him, it was not for me to make light or a joke of his situation. I honestly did not know if he was going through something or if he's just doing this for fun. I honestly can't understand what people do in this world. I can only give my opinion, and maybe, hopefully, it's up to them whether they want to perceive and how to help this guy. I don't know where this guy lives. I'm not affiliated with him. We don't talk on a regular basis. I'm giving you no indication that we do. So if you're just so concerned about him, maybe you should try reaching out to this gentleman and to see what you can do for him. Because clearly I'm going to give you my opinion, then we're going to talk about this guy and see where the listeners stand on this. But in any event, I'm not sure why you're singling me out of this letter, because I clearly don't understand where you're going with this.
Oh my God, so embarrassing.
Very embarrassing, because it's not me. I don't know. This letter is just, and my podcast is not a cry for help. My podcast is just, if people want my opinion, because I've been told before that I give really good advice. Some advice is good, some advice some people don't want to hear about, or some people just say, hey, I just want your opinion. So I'm going to give you my honest opinion and what I think about not only your letter, but this guy who you're clearly bothered about, because you seem more bothered about it than I am. I'm not bothered by it. And you might seem like a person that sits behind the computer or on your phone more often than you should, but that's clearly not me. I work. I don't know what you do in your time, but this is what I do in my time. I have 2 jobs. I have kids to take care of. And though I do find an hour a day to do a podcast, or an hour out throughout the week to do a podcast, I do this because I get letters from listeners that I don't mind helping. Unfortunately, I may or may not be able to help this gentleman because I don't really know his full situation. I can only go by what I see on social media. But even with that in mind, people have to want to help themselves. So, the guy that she's referencing about, or this person, oh, let's get into a text message. Hold on, hold that thumb. Business is calling. No, they ain't calling. The person that JS, I'm sorry, I don't know if you're a man or woman, but the person that you're referencing about, it's not really a lot to unpack here, but I still don't understand why you think this is about me. The guy that she is talking about, the guy that this person is talking about is a IG person. He goes by Shawnee and Emily. Now, I have seen his show, or I've seen his post, and this is a gentleman that has a family of mannequins. It's weird to me because he goes by Shawnee, and his mannequin friend, girlfriend is a mannequin now. And he posts a lot of content on social media. Started off as TikTok, and then I guess he kind of developed from there. To me, it's kind of weird. I don't know what this guy does for a living, don't really care. But I, on the other hand, am not one person to sit here on social media and do things to try to get likes. I don't know if that's what he's doing. I don't know if this is a cry for help for him. Honestly, I don't know. Like I said, a while back when I seen this, I kind of reached out to him because I seen the comment section blew up. And it seems that what started out as comedy to some people may be getting kind of serious. And a lot of people are kind of worried about him because of the way he lives his lifestyle and he talks to mannequins. Now, he's not the only guy that does this.
Retrieving encrypted audio communication.
There's a lot of people out here that have fascinations with, I don't really want to say mannequins or being people that are like not real. And I don't know how to handle that. That's just not something I would want to get into. I mean, everybody is different, but my vape tastes burnt. I think I burnt up one of my coils. I'm going to get another one. Anyways, that's just not something that I do. So I still, for the life of me, can't understand why you think this is about me. I lay out everything I do in my podcast and where my life is heading and where it's going. And so far, I'm completely satisfied with the way my life is going, and I'm content on the way my life is going. Again, as I said before.
Encrypted audio communication.
Okay, I thought this thing was down, but it's not. These notifications keep popping up. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Okay, so as I said, I don't have friends for a reason. Friends to me, there are some people that are good, there are some people that are bad, there are some people in between. I live my life because I like peace. I live my life because I like to wake up every day and not have to think about this person or that person or what that person is doing. I don't want anybody else's life to affect me negatively. Now, positively, on the other hand, when I go to work and I interact with people, I'm good with that. I'm really good with that. And if I can share my thoughts of positivity and encouragement with somebody, then I'm good with that as well. But I kind of drifted away from friends after high school. I wasn't a famous person. I was a class clown. I wasn't somebody who was going to be was voted most likely to succeed, because I think in my mind, that's just what other people want you to do instead of you doing what you want to do for yourself. So I succeed by my own way on my own terms. I succeed in doing what I do that makes me happy, not what everybody else does. Hence this podcast that I do, it can either reach some people or it can't. It can be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. Now, me personally, I can take away from this either way, but I don't ever take anything negative. Like the letter that this was written to me, explained to me that this person feels that my podcast is a cry for help. And I don't even think it's even that. I just think it's just me just giving my honest opinion. Because sometimes when we can't seek the opinions or the honesty from those that are around us, then we tend to lean onto a stranger to say, well, this is what you should do and which is what you shouldn't do. Now, whether that person chooses to take that advice, completely up to them. But back to this guy. He is a guy that is in a relationship with a plastic doll. The plastic doll is named Emily. It says this page is for comedy and satire, but let's be real. You can only pretend to get busy with the mannequin for so long before people start to thinking it's real. And at this point, it's less about the jokes and more about actual weirdness, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe this guy is just missing that social aspect in his life. My opinion of this, when I first saw this and I seen his page, there was a movie that came out back in 1987. Some of you may remember, some of you may not be able to remember, but me personally, I think that his lifestyle is actually based off this movie, because in the movie, the mannequin's name was Emma. And how it started was Emma takes refuge in a pyramid, pleading with the gods that she'll find true love rather than enter an arranged marriage. Emma, she suddenly vanished before her mother's eyes. In the 1987 movie, the character was played by McCarthy, named Jonathan Switcher. He's a sculptor working with mannequins in a warehouse and finishes a single female mannequin that he considers to be a masterpiece. His boss fired him for spending too much time to make mannequins a work of art, rather than assembling them several each a day. So, in my opinion, I don't know. To me, that's what this guy might be basing his page off of, because in the movie, the mannequin was named Emily. And if you guys have ever seen this movie, it's just about a guy that falls in love with the mannequin. She comes to life at night like an actual human being, and then, but he can only see her for her realness. Everybody else sees her as a mannequin. So when, I guess she's not looking, back then, movies were not high quality as they are today. So back then it kind of played to our advantage, because back in our day, when we seen a movie like this, we thought it was just, oh man, this is funny, it's good. And it was. But, social media is full of trends that kind of takes it to a whole other level. And I think that's where some may get their inspiration of what they're doing on their page, because this guy here, I don't know about his following. I think he has a good following, but I think most of the times the people that follow him are either there to poke fun of him, and people that are trying to help him, and then just some in between, like me. Like, I don't know where the hell to stand on this, because as I seen his pages went by, and I started it wasn't really funny to me, but it was just like, dude, this is weird. It's beyond weird. What is your life on a daily basis? Because not only did he do that, he got married to the mannequin. Okay. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Oh my goodness. But jeez, the mannequin, he played this thing out so long that the mannequin, in his mind, had a baby. Yeah, I know, right? It's just ridiculous. I don't get it either, but okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Settle down now. But in any event, and he took it even a step further, as the mannequin was giving birth to this other mannequin. Lord have mercy, I can't believe I'm doing this, but whatever. He, in return, calls his mother. And he played this out like this scenario was actually real. Now, he said he called his mother, but his mother didn't pick up. One has to believe and assume that either he's so far off the reservation, out of touch with life, that this is clearly not an act anymore. It's clearly just blatantly sad. I just don't understand it. I don't. It's not really a lot I can say about this letter that's gonna, do anything for this guy. And maybe he'll hear my podcast. I don't know. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But in my opinion, I thought that maybe he should kind of ease away from it, because there's only a certain point of time in life that when you start doing something that you're invested in, well, then it starts to become a part of your reality, and then it starts taking you down a place that you didn't think you could go to, because you can't separate what's real and what's not. And then when you're doing this actual bit and you keep doing this actual bit, well, who are you doing it for? Is it because that you like to get the attention on social media, or is it clearly not an act? And is it clearly a cry for help? That's just my opinion. I don't know. I don't know, but he takes it a whole step further. And then I think at one of his episodes, he got really upset because people were kind of berating him and getting down on him. And he was like, well, I don't know what my life is and this, that, and the other. I don't know if this is, again, real. It's just kind of scary to me. And I think, JS, if you feel the need, you want to try to reach out to this gentleman and try to do what you can for him, that is your opinion. That's your prerogative. Don't put me in that, because there's nothing that I can do to help him unless Mr. Shawnee decides to write my show and decide to say that whatever he wants to say, then maybe I'll step in. But I have never been so far disconnected from people that I would lean towards this direction. Even though to some people I may be perceived as lonely, I'm not lonely. I'm not. This is the way I choose to live my life. There are a lot of people that live their life the way that I do. They don't. The difference is between me and this guy, I engage with people. I don't do this podcast for social media reference or social media like. And the other difference is that I do engage with people on a daily basis. When I go to work, I talk to my kids on a daily basis. I talk to my parents, and that's good enough for me. Now, sometimes I miss the aspect of not having, or sometimes I miss the aspect of having friends. I do. I really do. Excuse me. Some of that water hit this vape. I think I burnt out my coil. Sometimes I miss having friends. Sometimes. It's not a rarity, but maybe 10% of the time I miss having friends. And I only say that because of the social interaction. And sometimes, like, I used to do some things with my friends when I was coming up, but as I got older and I started looking at the way people, were living their lives, and some people were honest, some people weren't honest, and I just kind of let it go. I had a friend, she was my best friend, and I thought that we would be friends pretty much for the rest of our lives. But she changed. She did a full 360 on me, and I don't even, to this very day, don't even know why. I knew she was kind of high maintenance, but I thought that we were good friends, because when I met her, she was not in a very good relationship, and I didn't really help her out much. I think I was just there for her, for someone that she could talk to, but we hung out and we had fun. I went to Wichita, Kansas with her. I don't know, it was to pick up her dad. And I thought that we had really hit it off. But as she got older and she started wanting to do things, her life went in a different direction, not for the bad, but for the good. But she kind of just dropped me off of the face of the earth, which, again, I don't know why. I thought we had a good chemistry. I thought we were really good friends. I met her mom. She's met my mom. We were always kind of there for each other, but she was a lot high maintenance. And I don't know if being seen with me kind of was like, well, that guy you're always with, is that your dude or whatever? I don't know. But since we haven't been friends anymore, I just, decided, well, okay, you do you. And then when I seen her a while back, it's like I spoke to her, and then she didn't even give me the time of day. And I'm like, well, what in the hell did I even do to you? I didn't do anything to you. We weren't intimate. We weren't sexually involved with each other. There was no hanky-panky, no friends with benefits. There was none of that shit. And she just stopped talking to me. I don't know. But I seen her husband, and her husband was a really cool dude, nice guy. And I wished them all nothing but the best. But I guess she got to a point in her life where she thought, well, we were average. She wasn't, I wasn't, okay. We both weren't rich, but we were average. So, and she would always talk about this life of how she wanted to do this or she wanted to do that. In any event, she had one son at the time. And then when I'm seeing her husband, she had, I think, 3 kids, and they were just getting ready to come out of college. I was happy for her. I really was. I'm not jealous of anybody's life and what you choose to do with your life and the direction that you go. If it benefits you, it benefits you. But the people that were there for you, don't cut them down. Don't drop them off the face of the earth because you feel that I didn't drag this girl down. I didn't. I really didn't. So I don't know what the hell happened. But in any event, I have since evolved from then. And what I have right now is my family and the young lady that I was soon married. That's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. So I don't need that interaction with people. It's fun to do that. And yes, if I can help you sometimes, then I will continue to do that. But even the people I work with, I don't feel the need to urge or to hang out with them or to go do anything because I don't know. Maybe I'm just socially awkward. Maybe I just don't like being around people. I don't know. Some people say I'm a loner and I'm completely fine with that. But I love the way my life is. You know, I think a lot of people, some people can benefit from that because when you have a friend that not only is a bad seed in your life, but kind of enables you to do things that you really shouldn't have no business doing until something else happens, then you're like, well, why did I even do this? Well, you know, I thought you was about that life and I thought you ride or die for me and this, that, the other. And then that's when you start thinking to yourself, well, you're not really a good friend to me. You're just someone at the moment that you need me to hype you up and to get you in the mood and ready for the, you know, the big bang. But that's just not me. So I think this guy here, I don't know. You know, you see a lot of shit on social media that's very weird. And some of it's true, some of it's not. And a lot of people go through a lot of work to be a content creator. I am not a content creator. I do a podcast. I appreciate my followers. I appreciate my listeners. But I don't do this. I don't do this to get likes. I do this because I enjoy it. I do this because I like to give out good advice. I do this because, let's just be honest, you know, I'm lonely. No, I'm just joking. I'm kidding. But in any event, this podcast is not going to be too long on talking about this guy and what he does. If you guys want to check him out, you can check him out. But for me personally, I think what he did, and I'm not sure what his home life is like. I'm not sure if he's, you know, just a person that's just trying to get this for likes, but that's just clearly not me. So, I wish him the best. I hope the best for him. And I hope that it just continues to get better for him. So, I just don't know, you know, but we're going to switch a little bit of gears because right now, we're probably just going to talk about some different things. You know, we're just probably going to talk about how everything is going with me. You know, I hope that my listeners, you're enjoying the show, and I hope that, you know, I can help you out in any way that I possibly can. But I enjoy what I do. I did have a listener email me in and ask about my music. Now, the music that I listen to is from a site called Epidemic Sound. It is copyright-free music, and that's where I find a lot of my artists, a lot of my music or my content. The site just goes from, I can pretty much put anything on it, really, but that's where I get most of my music from. And a lot of them say, well, you know, you had some really good music on there, some really good tracks. Well, the artists I put on here, because let's be real clear, the music industry is flooded. I can't use copyrighted music. Even if I could, I wouldn't. But much more of my music is more of an instrumental type music. I like to hear the beats. I like to connect with the melodies. You know, sometimes when you have a beat like that, you don't really need words. But sometimes words does make it go pretty good though. So, so in any event, you know, I'm just enjoying life. I'm just having fun. I'm just doing what I do. And I think every day I wake up above ground is a blessing. And I hope some people, my listeners, feel the same way. Because as we see out here, life is hard. You know, things are getting difficult to do. You know, but I'm still continuing to raise my kids. I'm still the father that I intended myself to be. And I still continue to just, be me and be happy. And that's what I hope my listeners are. You know, if you're ever going through something and you feel the need that you want to, you know, talk about it, please come on the show, email me. You know, I'm still working on a lot of parts of my show. I'm going to be on WhatsApp. Well, I am on WhatsApp. And I've been trying to put that link in there and get that taken care of. But I hope that what I say and what I do affects somebody in a positive way, not in a bad way. I feel that if you make friends with yourself, you'll never be alone. I feel that never let your friends feel lonely, disturb them at all times. No, I'm just joking. Loneliness doesn't mean being alone physically. I could be in a room full of friends, but feel utterly alone because the one person I need isn't there. So, I don't know. It's just me, I would like for my listeners to, comment, say something about it. How do you feel often at times? I'm still on the fence about taking my podcast to a live episode because I like it, but I don't want the back and forth. And I know you're going to have those trolls that's going to come in and be like, oh, well, this, that, and the run, you're wrong, and this, that, and other. I don't need to be right 100% of the time. Hell, I don't even need to be right 50% of the time. Everybody is different. We see a lot of stuff on social media with people's opinions and what they go through and what they have. I just like doing this because I like to give good advice. I go to work and I still feel that interaction with people that I talk to, and that people that I talk to, like, I'll give you an example. So my first job, you guys know I do roll off dumpster. A lady, I was dropping off a dumpster for a lady, and this lady, she was walking around the neighborhood. I don't know what she was doing until she came up to me, and she was asking me, she's like, well, I need your help. Is there any way that you could bring your truck over here? There's a bird stuck in the tree. And I was thinking to myself, okay. And I thought, well, it's going to all work out. The bird will probably eventually get free. So she was just really had her heart set on this bird. And I'll tell you why. She had her heart set on this bird. After I got through with the customer, I put my truck in position. And then I seen the bird. The bird's leg was stuck in a branch. I don't know how that happened, but it was stuck. Birds' legs aren't that big anyway, so they don't really weigh that much. But I have this tool on my truck that I use that if trash gets stuck up in my dumpster while I'm in dump mode, well, I can put it up there and I grab it and bring it down. It's a tool that they use to cut tree branches. So when I put my truck over there and I couldn't reach it, so I was like, well, hold on, I got something. The bird, he was fluttering, he was frustrated, he couldn't get free. And so I was like, well, wait a minute, I got this over here. So I was not trying to hit the bird. I was trying just to free him and set him free. So I got him free. I put my tool up there, not next to him, but I kind of twist the branch so the branch would break. It wasn't a big branch, but in any event, he got free. So the lady, she started crying. I didn't know what was going on with her. I really didn't. But she kind of broke down, and she told me that she had lost her daughter a week back, or I think it was a week ago. And she just couldn't bear to see this bird suffer and be helpless like that. She wanted to help this bird because her daughter was disabled and her daughter had died of some kind of cancer, and she had all kind of medical problems. And she was just so upset, and she was just crying, and she did not know what to do because she thought her life was just literally there was no meaning to it no more. But we talked, and I told her that I had lost my wife a few years back, and she kind of asked me, well, what did you do? And I said, well, listen, it helps if you get into grief counseling. It helps if you have somebody to talk to. And though you may not think it helps, but it does help because your family, they're going to all grieve like you, and everybody grieves differently. But it's a lot more better if you get out into counseling and you talk about it and you kind of figure out where you need to go in life, because she did not know anywhere that she wanted to go. She thought her life was that had no meaning to it because her life was spent, I don't know I forgot how old her daughter was, but her life was spent just taking care of her daughter every day. And she did say she's seen this day coming, but she didn't think it would be soon. And I told her the same thing. I said, well, when I lost my wife, I didn't think it was going to be like this. I didn't. I never did. Couldn't even fathom, because I thought we were going to grow old together and we were going to die together. But she said that looking at this bird just reminded her that, you know, somebody needed help. And though it was an animal, and I know how people are about animals, and I understand that, but we both kind of broke down. We both kind of cried a little, and we were just trying to console each other on how we can move past this process and get to a better place. She was very religious, as well as I. I think we prayed together, and then we also just kind of talked about life and said, listen, your life is not done. Think about what your daughter would have wanted for you. She is in a better place. She's in a place where there's no suffering. She's in a place where there's no pain. She is in a place where she's in God's warming, blessed arms. And that really kind of touched her. It touched her in a way that she felt that at the end of that conversation, she felt a lot better. She said, I know you don't know me and I don't know you, but thank you. And sometimes that's what people need. You know, this world is crazy. This world is cruel. But I still believe that there's a lot of good in this world that can be positive. As I said, I didn't know her. She came up to me. And I spent the whole better part of my day feeling good because I like to help people when I can. You know, I don't help when it benefits me. This didn't need to go viral on social media. And I know that we see those videos on social media and we think that's a good thing, but I didn't choose to take out my phone and say, hey, record this because this needs to go on social media. There are some things that's better off left said. You know, I am the kind of person that doesn't need to be on social media to see what I can do for people. I'm just a person that likes to be me. I'm a very humble person. I'm a very laid back person. And when I do what I do to help people, it's just that so that hopefully they can have a better day. If I know that I can touch somebody in a way to make them have a good day and a better day, and in the end it comes out to be a positive instead of negative, well, that's good for that person, but it's even better for me. Because as sad as this world is, I want everybody to live in peace. I want everybody to get along. But I know I can't always have what I want. But this is the way I choose to live my life. This is the way I choose to go about living life and having a good life. Because there's always a person that's, you know, angry, upset, and whatever the case may be. But if I can turn that negative into a positive, by all means, I'll give it a shot. 9 times out of 10, for me, it does work that way. 9 times out of 10, that person comes back. You know, I have customers that I deal with when I work my second job that are, you know, either angry or upset. And even though the interaction is very little, could be about 1, maybe 2 minutes, but we talk. And then you have some of these people that come in are just senior citizens. You know, their kids have went off and their kids have not really abandoned them, but, you know, they feel abandoned. You know, they feel like there's no one there to talk to. And I love that interaction. The place that's my second job where I work at, it's a Dollar Tree. I work at Dollar Tree. It's my second side hustle. But, you know, you have senior citizens that come in there and they just look for someone to talk to. And I enjoy that. I really do. You know, I used to work in a nursing home when I was younger. And I think interaction with old people are just the best because they have a lot of things that they want to talk about and they don't really have anything to share it with. So I encourage people, don't look past people because they've got to a certain age and you feel that you can't connect on their level. Sometimes they just want to be heard. Sometimes they just want the interaction of a person. You know, when I worked in a nursing home, I've seen so many residents that were abandoned by their kids. You know, they were wealthy and their kids choose to stick them in this home. I pray to God that doesn't happen to me. It doesn't. I would only do that to my parents if there was something serious that I couldn't fix or that I couldn't help them with. You know, I wouldn't do it because I'm tired of them or I don't want to be bothered with them. I often think to myself, why are people so cruel? Why do they do that to their parents? I mean, if your parents did their best and they gave you the good life and the best life, don't stick them in a home and then just forget about them and go on with your life. Because in the end, you never know how much time they have or you have with them. It's always good to interact with them and let them know. Now, I work 2 jobs. It's no excuse, but I work 2 jobs. But I do keep in contact with my mother on a weekly basis. We text, we talk. She shares a lot of videos with me. The crazy thing is about my mother, she is so with it in 2025. She has TikTok, she has Instagram. Her grandkids, my kids turned her on to Snapchat. I don't even have Snapchat. I was like, Mom, how do you have Snapchat? But my mom, she loves it. She has fun with it. And as we see, this generation of senior citizens are not like the ones we grew up with. They don't sit around and just wait. They go out there, they do things, they have a good life, they have fun. They're not watching grandkids as often as they were back in the day. Why? Because nobody knew the world would turn out the way it did with technology, with things growing and things doing different. You know, you have some older folks out here who are just living life, and I'm loving it for them. Because when you live life and you take care of yourself, you can enjoy the happiness of being happy. So I guess what I'm saying to you guys today, even though this podcast was supposed to be specifically about this one person, which it's fine, we did the better half of the show of that, I would encourage you that if you see somebody, your neighbor, an older person that, you know, kind of feels left out, or you're not sure how you should approach them, just be friendly to them, you know? And I know I get some of them are mean, but, you know, I think they're mean because they're lonely. You know, they sit in a house all day, or they don't have anybody to talk to because they feel that nobody wants to talk to them because they can't connect on their level. I will sit here and listen to anything they have to say. I do. Maybe it won't make sense, but it's just the fun of talking to somebody, knowing that somebody's there to listen to them. It's just good interaction to me. I love it. I love it. But you know, as we get older, as we're younger, we think that, oh, this will never be me. I can't live this way. But you never know. It can be you. You may be having the best time of your life right now. But as you get older and things start to change, how do you know that can't be you? You know, I make it a point to talk to my kids every day. I hope that as I get older, my kids would still put up with me. You know, I hope that my kids will still come around. You know, even though my one son has moved out and he is on his own, but we still talk on an everyday basis. He calls me while he's at work, or I call him at work. And that's the interaction I want to have. I still want to be close with my family. You know, I don't really need friends in this world, but I don't mind having them as long as they bring me some kind of positive in my life and not so much negativity. You know, I see people that age quicker than they should because they let life or friends or anything kind of control them to take them down that path of negativity. And the crazy thing is, I'm 47 years old. I look like I'm 35. And why do I look like that? Well, I guess I contribute that to not only eating right, but just living a peaceful life. But with a peaceful life comes knowledge and wisdom of others. And what I mean by that, when you talk to certain people and they tell you how they live their life, well, that's what I kind of adapted to. I like that. I'm not the kind of person that you should come to my house, and if you're a friend, that you should come to my house and you should spend all hours of the day with me. No, that's not me. Family's different. Friends, I want to see you. Let's spend about 10 to 15 minutes together, and then you got to go. Sorry. You gotta go. That's just me though. Everybody is different. I don't like a lot of people in my house. I don't like to, unless you're family and we're doing some kind of gathering, then yes. You know, my kids have friends. Their kids are very respectful. They speak to me. I talk to them, and then they just have a good time. That's not a really big deal to me. It's not. But having people over in my home every day, to me, it's kind of just like, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I like the social interaction. I do. But I also like my peace. I like to come home, kick back, check email, you know, read letters from my listeners and, you know, things like that. So family is good. It is. Friends are good. And if you have that friend that brings you so much peace and joy and happiness, by all means, keep that friend. It's all good. Real friends are the ones that you can count on no matter what. The ones who go into the forest to find you and bring you home. A real friend never has to tell you that they're your friend. Just think about that. So it doesn't matter where you are or what you do. True friends are always together in spirit. But me personally, this is just me. It's just who I am. So as we get ready to close the show out today, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank my listeners. I appreciate the letters. I appreciate the support. Thank you for stopping through, coming through, and just, I just like it. I like reading the letters, and even though some letters are a little bit off the reservation than most, but still, I will give you the benefit of the doubt. I will, like I said before, I will read your letters and I will take into consideration. So, there are friends, there are family, and then there are friends that become family. And if you have a friend like that, then keep that friend. Now, me personally, I guess what I'm trying to say, people that I really come in contact with, even though I don't have friends, I consider them to be my family. Especially if we're on the same page and we kind of vibe together. But it's all good. My friends, if you have any complaints, gripes, comment, advice you want, feel free to email me at d6empire357@gmail.com. My social media links are always listed on my description of the podcast. My episodes that you can still listen to are on YouTube. Channel is also listed. So, as we get ready to close it out, the next artist up that's going to take us out is going to be Teklef? I don't know. Teklef. Teklef. I think it's called Teklef. And it's called Find My Way. So I hope a lot of you find your way in life. I wish a lot of you the best. I hope you have a great day, a great week. And I hope in some ways that every day is a positive day, no matter what the day may bring you. So my friends, family, listeners, until the next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other. But for right now, I want y'all to groove to find my way. Till next time.